Discover the enchantments of the book beyond mere pages. They served as a gateway to the new world, wisdom, and the personal growth. Immerse yourself and let your mind take flight. And congratulations on the fourth episode of the Bibliothek. It is an exciting chance to connect with the authors, delve into the motivations and experience, and gain values and the valuable insights into the book writing journey. Plus, getting the worth feedback about the content and the USP from my side as well. In today's episode, we will explore the realm of Microsoft Power Pages in the action, where you can accelerate your low-code journey by building the functional rich web apps using the Power Pages. Our featured expert is none other than Faisal Hussona. This book delves into mastering low-code web app development with the Power Pages. You will learn how to customize the web app using Liquid and the JavaScript, guided by step-by-step instruction and the real-world examples. By the end of the comprehensive guide, you will have a solid understanding of the Power Pages and the ability to create the web application tailored to your unique needs. Having meticulously reviewed all approximately 350 pages, I can attest to the attention grabbing content within. The moment we have been waiting for this has arrived. Let's extend a warm welcome to Faisal and give him the floor to introduce himself. Faisal, over to you.
Oh, thank you. Thanks very much. That's a very nice introduction, Ambush. I appreciate the opportunity here to be with you, talking to your audience as well. Um, so I've been a developer actually since I was a kid. When I was young, um, it wasn't like today where computers are everywhere and things like that. So I had my first computer when I was a teenager. It had 1K of RAM. Can you believe it? But still, you could write programs and load programs. Um, and then after uni, I just jumped into technology. I found that I loved programming, and I was good at it. I started to specialize some years later in the workflow industry. In the 90s, um, I was building document management and workflow um, for like oil and gas and banking. Um, and I was working doing SAP integrations at an oil company. And this is way back in 1999, 2000, 2001, something like that, before Microsoft CRM had come along. And I saw a SAP portal, and I just thought it was absolutely amazing that you could create websites and web pages against ERP data. I'd never seen anything like it, and I thought it was marvelous. And it's only a year later, after that, that Microsoft CRM was brought out. I think the first version was 1.2. It wasn't very good, but you could see where it was going,
Mhm.
and um, and then they skipped version 2 and then came out version 3, which was really good. But it had a workflow engine in it, and at that time, there was a workflow industry, really expensive servers, like 50 grand for the software,
Yeah.
100 grand for a project. Microsoft CRM came along and just sort of embedded it for free. Um, and so I basically stopped what I was doing, which is sort of C sharp programming, .NET programming, Java programming, and I focused exclusively on Microsoft CRM. Um, and by Microsoft CRM 4, I was doing a lot of banking projects in the UK. I built the first banking system we integrated with an AS400, and that was Societe Generale back in, well, 20 something years ago. Um, and I never looked back. Um, but I never forgot what I'd seen on the portal. And then I saw ADX Studio got launched, I think sometime around 2007, sometime around then. And I thought, like, that's it. It's a portal, and I was just amazed by it, as it was groundbreaking in those days
Mhm.
to put a portal against CRM or ERP data. And ever since then, that's all I ever did. I just built portals, um, and through my career, I've been mentoring and teaching a lot of people. Um, and I started to believe in this thing called citizen developers, which is basically ordinary people being able to develop without being, you know, experienced programmers. I then had a project for a government department in the UK. They're a regulator, and they'd had failed projects. Um, oh, to recap, I spent 6 or 7 years, a decade really, seeing one bad implementation after another. Basically, JavaScript developers who didn't know how to use Portal or Power Pages, um, and they would just build everything in JavaScript without using, you know, basic form, lists, pages,
Mm.
all the components and the organized structure of a Power Page or Microsoft CRM portal before that. So there were two problems I could see. One is the experienced developers weren't bothering to learn how to implement a Microsoft CRM portal or a Dynamics portal or a Power Page site as it became. Um, and people were just hiring JavaScript developers and thinking that was enough. And they were producing some really awful projects. In one case, one of the largest ministries in the UK has a portal that's really important for um, people in the UK, a certain type of job, and it cost £10,000 to make a small change. I was on a project with them, and they wanted to change a time format, and because they had files with megabytes of JavaScript, tens of thousands of lines of code. You had to look through his code to find it, and I just thought this is crazy. These people don't know what they're doing, and people spending a lot of money on this. Um, and then I had the experience where I went into a government project that had a failed project, and I said, "Have you heard about citizen developers? We can bring your people up using low code, no code, which is where Dataverse and Power Pages had gone, um, and Power Automate Flow. And we can train your guys up, and they don't need to be great programmers, but at the end of it, they'll be able to maintain and extend it." And they bought it, if you like. They bought the idea, and it was a great success. And at the time, I started thinking, you know, we need a book. We need something to give to a person who doesn't know anything about coding but has an interest
Yeah.
and maybe has a propensity to develop things with uh, a low code approach, drag and drop. And yeah, so I started writing this book a couple of years ago now. It was more really a collection of ideas at the time and snippets and advice to novice developers. And yeah, then someone approached me and said, "Would you like to really turn this into a real book?" And
Hmm.
I agreed. But I didn't really know what was involved, to tell the truth. Had I known, honestly, that it was going to suck a whole year and more, and I don't know, hundreds and hundreds of hours of time, I'm not sure if I would have actually undertaken it. As much as I love to train people and I love to mentor new developers, and I love just seeing people who know nothing and then 3 or 4 months later they're producing websites and automations. It's very satisfying to see people. I've trained hundreds of people in my career, um, but still, it's very hard to write a book. So I wrote the book with those people in mind, with a citizen developer in mind. Um, and I wanted them to have the right approach. I wanted them not to be scared of code, um, but to start with using um, low code or no code, drag and drop, create a page, and then extend it a bit more. Um, but Power Pages together with Power Automate Flow is really an amazing combination. Um, the Dataverse side makes the data modeling easy. So it's really easy for someone to pick up Power Pages, work through Studio, and build a site that has security and automation using flows. And flows, Power Automate Flows, is a tremendous technology. Don't forget, I came from the workflow industry,
Yeah.
and it was you used to program this stuff, and it was really complex and difficult to automate a process, say for a bank or something like that. But now it's so easy. You can learn to create a flow in a few days. You can be producing flows. And there's a lot of support from Microsoft in terms of documentation. And together with Power Pages for the user interface, you can make some really amazing apps that honestly only a year ago or 2 years ago would have taken teams of people months to do. Now one guy with a little bit of skills and knowledge can, or one guy or girl or them, can build something pretty amazing. And so that's why I wrote the book. Um,
Yeah.
and um, and the
Uh,
other thing I should say is I've done a lot of projects over the last 20 years. So I've been oil and gas, banking, government, NGOs, um, engineering. I've seen a lot of industries, and I what I did as I wrote the book, every time I came across having to put an example, I either had something current in my hand I was working on, or something that bothered me in the last couple of years. So all the examples are real life examples, real world examples of things I'd either built recently, or had done or was working on that year. I give you an example: the REST chapter. Um, I was building an integration with Power Pages for Zero, and I thought, wow, this is really important. Everybody wants to integrate their accounting software. Zero is a great accounting software because it's got a wonderful API. So it would be a really good thing to put in the book. And I wanted to show people not to be scared of. You could do it in a chapter. You can integrate with Zero or any other accounting package, literally in a few pages. It's not something you don't need to go and get, someone like me to do it. You can read their API, and they've got great examples, and you can integrate it with a Power Page. And I've shown how. And the idea behind it could be used in many other type of integrations which have a redirect page. So the REST authentication followed by a redirect, which is a really common pattern. So I try to find real life examples where people would be asked for those sort of things all the time, and that's how I came up with the kind of the flow and the format of the book and who I intended to. The characters were real people who I've come across. There is a real Sarah who I've trained. Um, there is a
yeah.
real Rob. Okay, you've got a building business. These people do exist. You know, not not necessarily for this year, but they're out there, and they're people who I've worked with. Adam in accounts, he really exists as a person, and he is quite good at technology, and he's good at accounting, and he's good at using Excel and picking up bits of technology. So I had those people in mind, and those people in any organization you go to, you'll find a Sarah, you'll find an Adam, you'll even find a Brenda who is holding the small company together, if you like, in the back office, who's great, who's got great skills at using Microsoft Office or something similar, Excel, and making applications based on Excel, and give them the tools. And wow, those people can fly, right? So I wanted to help the Brendas and the Sarahs and the Robs and the Adams of the world. Anyway, so that's how I came up with those characters as well. Um, and that's about it. Anvesh's intro.
It's a wonderful way to concise it, like what was your inspiration, how you bring your all of the lesson learning, your failures, your success, everything you concise in the book. And you already mentioned like it took more than a year and a lot of effort to just write it. One thing interesting I would like to ask, maybe it's hard for the authors to say or to answer this, but what topic basically or what chapter do you like most in the book?
Okay, well, actually, that's very easy because I don't think the world, or at least the technology world, has understood the implication and the great leap forward that Microsoft done, and very recent. We're talking since January of this year, of December, so it's a few months old, where they integrated Power Automate Flow as an instant cloud flow. That means you can click on a button and you can run this
Yeah.
flow, which can call an external service, do business logic, and bring you back the answer, or bring you back a result or the response. Um, Now, anyone who's been programming or developing for the last 10 years, you'll find
Yeah.
that they've had to do a lot of jobs where they're doing integration, systems
Hmm.
integration, integrating an app with external data. Uh, every app needs it, whether you're picking up the holidays from a
Yeah.
public government service, you're integrating with a third party app like Zero. This instant cloud flow, it's basically turning weeks of work into hours. Previously, we've had to do things like um, build an external function like an Azure function, and then a whole bunch of JavaScript, which is calling that Azure function. It's complicated. You've got to be a real programmer to do that kind of work. The Azure function
Mm.
itself is always complex to build and takes a long time. Weeks of work goes into these kind of things. Well, now I don't have to do any of that. I just use the Cloudflow. Security is taken care of, and Cloudflows have come with hundreds of connectors. You can connect to anything, any accounting system, any system. It's got HTTP request. It's got everything you need to do an external
True.
call in a low code, no code way, no code way. Now you can call it. You can have an event basically on a page means like a button clicked and creates a click event. An event, something changes on the page, okay? Or you can do it on the submission, you press submit on the page, or as the page loads. And I can go out, I can call out one Cloudflow and call another one, as many Cloudflows as you want. And they're quick. When they first saw them, I thought, I bet it's going to take a few seconds. No, no. Yeah, it's using Ajax, which is synchronous, but the way they've made it work, it's instant. It's like 1 second and
Real
you've
time.
called
Yeah.
out to a flow and it's come back again. It's not like the other flows which seem to run asynchronously. I mean, they all run asynchronously anyway, it's true, but the trigger flows or the automated flows, they take when you click on something and you wait for them, you see it come, and it sometimes takes 1 or 2 seconds to load and to run. Okay, it doesn't get that with instant Cloudflow. It really is instant. I mean, I'm on the web page. I've got my inspection tools open so I can see what's going on. I click the button and it's like it's less than a second. It's gone. Done a query, dataverse, done some work, and brought back a result. Um, and that is a great leap forward in terms of productivity. I don't hear people talking about it. When I saw it, honestly, I fell off my chair when I understood the implication of what it can do. Um, and there's nothing else like it. I can't see any other software platform out there that has something like that. Um, and yeah, it's so for me, I was so looking forward to introducing that and explaining it. And I've got it. Got it. I think in a few examples in the book. There's a chapter on it which is called Power Pages and Cloud Flows, where I introduce it. And then
Yeah.
throughout the book, I think I've got it in the REST integration. I've got it in creating a PDF. I think I've even got it in the modal windows chapter.
Hmm.
And so the point is that it's something that should become second nature to a page developer to work with Cloudflows and to use instant Cloudflows. Any idea you've got, any integration you need to do, a verification. You can imagine someone's registering, they put an email, you want the email to be unique. Cloudflow, is it unique? Come back, return an error message. This email already exists, or you're registered. Thank you very much. Let's direct you somewhere else. The, uh, the things you can do with it, or the functionalities you can produce with instant Cloudflows are huge, and we're just limited by our imagination, I think. Um, and it's a great leap forward. So that's my favorite chapter, and
Interesting.
with good reason, I think.
Yeah, interesting. Like the complete Power Pages is one of my favorite topic because I see the complete grow. I have been involved like from the very initial time when Microsoft acquired this from the Edexo and then working. So I'm glad that I was a part of that team. But any content about the Power Pages is always click my mind. Okay, now there is something available. Just go and read through. So and the number of year of experience you have into this one, we can talk the whole day. But let's try to summarize this. So while the process of evaluating the book, I would like to emphasize the value of Rob, Brenda, and Sarah as a central character. So along With the practical use case they illustrate, while acquiring the technical knowledge is a crucial in understanding how to apply this technology to the real world scenario. And that is also equally significant. The box case studies provide actionable insight, bridging the gap between the theory and the practice. So, regarding the specific chapter, if you could ask me, I found chapter 12 and chapter 13, like REST integration and creating a PDF file from the data was to delve into the fantastic topics. However, I noticed also that the inclusion of the copilot, which is now part of the product, and the updated screenshots, such as the new security tab in the design studio, were missing from some places, and which actually leads to some confusions to the readers. Also, despite this, I firmly believe that the book is a valuable investment for everyone's time across if they are just going through the content of that one. And on that note, thank you, Faisal, again for your graciously sharing your time with us. A heartful shout out to all of the viewers for their unwavering support. Remember to subscribe the channel and click the bell icon for the notification and share the valuable content with your friends and the colleagues. Let's spread the knowledge and the excitement. Stay tuned for our next episode. We will be unveil the next book up for the review. Until then, have a fantastic time and goodbye. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ambesh. Thank you.